Humongous couple of games up ahead over in the UEFA Nations League as we edge closer to a grand bloody final. That's right. Which nations out of the 4 remaining will make it through to that final? We're going to take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks. Back once again in another video. Today we're taking a look at the Nations League semi-finals, of course. Only 4 nations remain, which 2 will make it through to the final. We're going to take a look at that, of course, in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe, you want subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Nations League, World Football. We're going to all here under one roof here. Of course, Germany, Spain, Portugal, France, big heavyweights of European world football are in here, of course, to compete for the 2 spots for the Nations League final. Who, of course, will do it? We'll take a little look in just a second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. But before all that, big shout out again down below. Check out the links if you want to help out with the channel. So here we go, guys. We're going to recap the results from the Nations League, which did take place way back in March. Of course, the grand scheme of things. Of course, bring it back up to date with what I said, what you guys said, whatever. Of course, look forward to those semi-finals. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this, guys. These were those. My prediction on the right-hand side. The real deal was on the left. Germany with a 3-3 thriller against Italy. I went with a 3-0 win myself. Spain with a 3-3 draw as well against Netherlands. They went through on penalties. I went with a 3-1 win for Spain. Portugal with a 5-2 win over Denmark. I went with a 2-0 win for Portugal as well. And France 2-0 winners. I went with a 2-1 win, and they went through as well to the semi-finals. But we are now set ourselves up for an absolute cracking semi-finals. What are we talking about? Well, let's get into it. All right, folks, now we're left with 4 nations, 2 matches, 1 leg, rules them all, of course, and the winner of each leg will go through to a final, which will be in the second matches. Of course, we're talking later on in June. So it's Germany and Portugal kicking us all off on Wednesday, the 4th of June. So let's jump in the deep end and take a look at this one. Coming out of the Allianz Arena, Germany under Julian Nagelsmann. Of course, a nice record so far in the last 6 matches, 83% form for them. Of course, unbeaten in the last 6. With a couple of draws, though, in that last 6, we'll evaluate or galvanise on those in a minute. Up against Portugal, Roberto Martinez, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They're on 67% form for them heading into this one. Now, they have played 6 times, these 2 nations, since the year 2000. We've got 5 wins for Germany, just 1 win for Portugal. No draws between the 2 sides. Germany have a 4-0 win on the record. They got 15 goals scored in those 6 games, picking up a 2.50 goals a game ratio against the Portuguese. The Portuguese, the one and only win was a 3-0 win. They've got 8 goals scored in those 6 games, picking up a 1.33 goals a game. Now, the last time that these 2 sides played was back in June 2021. It was a 4-2 win for Germany in the Euros. So, of course, that was in Group 4. So, 6-goal Bobby Dazzler. In fact, it's been 3, 4, 5 wins on the spin for Germany. In fact, in those 5 games, let's take a look at the goals here. 6 goals, 10, 4, 15 goals scored in the last 5 matches. So, averaging 3 goals a match for the Germans. Portugal's one and only win was back in June 2000. So, it's been a long time on the agenda, but can they do it? Well, we'll see. Of course, Germany's resume coming into this has been pretty spectacular. Unbeaten in at least the last 6, including wins over Bosnia, the Dutch. Bosnia, again, they picked up a draw against the Hungarians. They did beat Italy in Italy, and they picked up a 3-3 draw as well in Germany to secure their spot here in that semi-final. As for the Portuguese, they're coming into this on the back of the last 6, of course, beating Poland and Scotland. They drew with Scotland. They picked up a win again against Poland. In Portugal, they drew with Croatia. They did lose to the Danes in the first leg, but come through quite strongly in the end, 5-2 to secure the spot right here in the semi-final. Win to guarantee it. Of course, Germany look good right now. It's a bit of a changing of the guard here for the Germans as a chance for them to really stake their claim and get the nation on side here. No Manuel Neuers, no Mullers. There's quite a lot of change as well. So exciting prospects in the mixer for Germany and a chance really to kind of cement their status as one of the big boys heading into the World Cup. To do that, they need to beat the likes of Portugal. They need to beat the likes of Spain and France, of course. So I'm going to stick my neck out on this one. I'm going to go back the Germans to come out on top with a decent 2-0 win over the Portuguese to secure the spot in the final, which, of course, we'll be back for, maybe even do a watch-along for. We'll see, depending on what goes on. So let's get into the next thing. Who will they play? The Germans in that illustrious final in the Nations League. They've taken on Spanish, take on the French. Of course, at the MHP Arena, Spain under Luis de la Fuente. Looking good right now, current European champions. Unbeaten in the last 6 matches, 92% form for them right now. Up against the French under Didier Deschamps. Just 1 defeat in the last 6, 75% form for them coming into this. And they played the Spanish 15 times since 1984. So they are quite regular opponents. This is, of course, a tasty little match. It'll be one for the ages. It could be one for the ages if they both decide to show up. 15 times they played, 6 wins for the Spanish, 7 wins for the French. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. Now, Spain have a 2-0 win on the record. They've got 17 goals scored in those 15 games, 1.13 goals a game. Up against the French, who have a 3-1 win on the record, 18 goals scored against them in those 15 matches, 1.20. Of course, the most recent match between these two sides was the semi-final in July 2024 of the Euros. It was a 2-1 win for the Spanish. But prior to that, France picked up a win in the Nations League final back in October 2021. The French come out on top with a 2-1 win as well on that one. So looking to at least defend their title to the bitter end here. But the recent form, it is quite hopscotchy. When we look back at it, the Spanish have won 3, the French have won 2. There's been 1 draw between the two sides. The Spanish record coming into this has been pretty faultless. They picked up a 1-0 win over the Danes, a 3-0 win over the Serbs. They picked up an away win against Denmark, followed up with a 3-2 win over the Swiss. Then they had a tricky match against the Dutch in the Dutchlands and squeaked past them overall on penalties, 5-4 back in March. As for the French, a 4-1 win over the Israelis, 2-1 winners over the Belgians, a 0-0 draw against Israel, which kind of saw them a little bit wobble here. 3-1 win over Italy, 2-0 winners, a 2-0 loss to Croatia, and a penalty shootout win to see them through as well to join Spain in this one. The bookies on this one is quite tight. They do go with the Spanish, of course, for this one. For me, though, it's going to come down to who really shows up. The French have a young squad, but a talented squad. The Spanish could be relying on a couple of individuals, and of course, can they deliver? Can they deliver? Can they deliver that success from Euro 2024 into this competition? I do think it's tight. I think it's very, very fine margins. I'm going to lean towards the European champions, I think. 3-1 win for Spain, which will set up a repeat of that Germany-Spain match. Win the Euros, a year or so ago. So that's my take on it, guys. Of course, hopefully, we'll see. We'll come back for that final, of course, with a prediction on its own. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash the like, of course, as we have non-stop coverage of the World Cup qualifiers as well as the Nations League, and of course, Blackburn Rovers non-stop here throughout the summer and beyond. Until then, subscribe, smash the like, check out the links down below. But until then, we're done.